Oh my gosh, look at that. The lake is opening up. What's up, NABUers? I gotta say, sitting here at the table, I just keep looking outside at the water. It's amazing because I haven't seen water in, which feels like forever, but I know it's only been a couple months, maybe a month. I don't know. You have to look back through my videos and find out. But anyway, a lot of you have messaged me on my About page on YouTube. Thanks so much about that you saw somebody recently on YouTube who's copied my CPM. Copy, all this exact same read up here, the same font, the user area, all that kind of stuff was there. And you said, how did this guy do this? Well, on that video, let's take a quick look here. I'll show you, because we'll talk a little bit how a computer works. So you can see here that it's clearly by Cloud CPM, but it has different messaging in here. And how did Sean do this? And that's going to be something that I'll show you how you can do it with pretty much any binary program, because that's just the way computers work. So let me show you something. So I have here inside of my store folder the binary file for Cloud CPM, which is just downloaded off the server, thrown in here. And I'm going to show you exactly how, if you don't know how to write your own programs, or you want to copy what someone else has done and void someone else's copyright, this is how you can do it. So I'm going to use here a program that you can download for free. It's called XVI32. It's super popular for a hex editor. Put it up here in the big screen for you. Now, what you're actually seeing here is the code in what's called opcode form that talks to the Z80. Now, you may have seen assembly code in the past. Okay, here you go. Here's a nice little example of what assembly is. Now, assembly is as close as you can get to writing code for a CPU without actually using what's called opcode. Now, what is inside of a binary is not actually assembly. Each one of these numbers represents an opcode, and then after the opcode will represent a parameter for that particular opcode. So an opcode, well, first off, let's take a look at, we have an XOR here. And the first parameter of XOR is a register, and the second parameter can be a register as well, or memory address or something, a constant. But you'll see here that the A registers are being XOR'd just to zero it out. Okay, now if there was an XOR B or an XOR C or an XOR, like different registers, this actually XOR is not a single command. You see, what ends up happening is the assembler takes something like an XOR or an LDHL, and because of the first parameter is HL, this will actually be a different opcode based upon what register it's talking to. So let's take a quick look here. So if we have, for example, an LD, and it might be an A register, okay, then that's going to talk to a particular opcode. I'm just going to make it up. I don't know what it is. Let's just say it's opcode 63. But if this is a B, then this is going to be opcode, let's say just 64. And if this is a C, then this is going to be opcode 65. Now, again, I'm not looking online to tell you what all this is. I mean, you can research that and find out for yourself. And here you go. This is a matrix of all of the different opcodes in a matrix to each of the assembly commands. So, for example, we're talking about LD, and you can see here, LDBC, LDDE, LDHL. You see how they have different opcodes. So I said something like 63 for H. I was close. But essentially what assembler does is it makes it so that LDH or LDHL or LDA, even though it's a different opcode, it makes it so it looks like a single syntax line. So when you look at a binary, what you're seeing are all the opcodes. Now, you're also going to notice that you have text, plain text. And that's because you have to store the text somewhere inside your binary. So while most of the numbers you see are actually opcodes and parameters, if you scroll through your text, you're going to find plain text. And this is plain text which is referenced by particular parts of the binary. Now, because you're not going to be able to modify this code, now you kind of can. You can disassemble the binary into assembler and then edit the text and also edit the assembler and recompile it. But if you're not capable of doing that, like capable of writing assembler programs, then what you'll do is you'll actually modify the text inside of the hex editor. So as you can see here, we booted up into CPM, and you can see DJ Sure's copyright, etc. And as you can see in here, there's all the exact same text. So let's just pretend that we didn't want to scroll through this file and we wanted to find the text we want to change. So I can hit Control F and I can just type in DJ Sure's. And I have here the case sensitive, so we'll just turn that off. It's a text string, we'll hit OK, and boom, they're brought right to us. So why don't we change this to someone else's name? So we'll make it Sean. Now I can't fill in his full name because as you can see, the text here goes from the bracket, copyright, S-E-A-N, and then S-U-R-E-S, and then you'll notice at the very end of that is a 00. Because that is telling the code, the program that reads it, that's the end of the string. This next piece here is actually a different string. It's referenced someplace else. And you'll notice where that's referenced, because if we scroll to the right, we'll see it's over here. So we won't be able to change this to exactly Sean, but we can change it to, for example, space. And then he likes to call himself Sean Rocks. So now what we could do is we can just click File, Save, and we'll refresh, reset the NABU. Let's watch it boot up. And there you see, we've changed the text and we booted up, and we didn't have to recompile the code. We didn't have to get the assembly source code or anything of the sort. So in this particular video where he had stolen my Cloud CPM binary, exactly what he had done is just put blank spaces over top of the places in which he wanted the copyrights or the notices to be changed. So for those of you who notice that there's a lot of similarities, that's why. And you can do that with pretty much any program. That even on Windows programs, you'll find that you'll be able to edit the resources, edit the text, and you'll be able to change it. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to write your own program and want to steal someone else's, this is how you can do it. Now, there are ways around it, and it's precautions I could have taken, which would have made it more complicated, is you can use something even like RLE would have been actually pretty easy for me to be able to encrypt this, because for somebody who doesn't know how to program very well, and especially looking through the opcodes, it's tough. You would actually be able to encode the text, and it would be really difficult for somebody to be able to edit. But of course, I mean, we're talking about a NABU computer here, so what do you really gain by doing something like this, other than being able to tell people that you made something in which you didn't? So this is an interesting thing that you guys could do if you wanted to even edit games or... So there you have it. That's that's kind of how the opcodes work. That's how a binary works. That's how the text works. And you can, like I showed you, clearly edit a binary and make it seem like someone else's work is your work. there you have it. We have a brand new version of CPM. All right, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.